Martin from Gun Basics Philippines here, and we are live. So, what is this? Welcome to the Introduction to Guns course. So, why am I doing this? What is this? So, right now, guys, just giving you an update. Checking my calendar, it's February 25, 2024. And those who've been following Gun Basics Philippines, this course that I made, Introduction to Guns, I was checking my files. The very first one I ever did was in 2013. And then the last one I did was in 2022. So it's been a while. So I'm back. And why am I doing this right now? This is for people who want to learn about guns. And this is something that I felt it hit me. And I wanted to do this to reach more people. These are people at home, so you may not necessarily have access to a shooting range or even guns and firearms training. So this was inspired by the COVID lockdown that happened in 2020. So March, when everything, the whole COVID virus hit, the lockdown, we were in ECQ, all of that. Times changed a lot. So a lot of us, we consume content here via video on our device. So I'm doing this for you as well. Also, I'm doing this because in the recent years, I've gone through my personal development journey in 2018. So one of my mentors in 2020, Tony Robbins, I'm learning this from him. I'm doing this for you guys, and it's free, completely free, not partially, as I hear him say. So this is my gift or giving back to you guys. Also, I was inspired recently by all of you people out there, training groups, in the gun community, who still keep putting yourself out there. So I started this more than a decade ago. And some of you guys, I trained alongside you. And some of you guys, you know what it's like. And some of us take a break, some of us come back. And I'm inspired by you guys who just keep putting yourself out there and you haven't given up. The last thing is also to just share my passion and my love for guns. So this is why I created Gun Basics Philippines. So I'm giving you the introduction to guns course, and I'm going to make it through a video. So it's for all of you guys and girls who maybe you can't join me in the shooting range. You can't afford, you don't have financially right now, you're going through a hard time, and maybe you just never had the chance. So this is it for you. So next, this is for people who want to learn about guns. If you're a first timer, welcome. I hope this helps you a lot. I created this course because in my experience, how I got into guns was I go to a shooting range once I hit legal age. So I think I hit 18 or something like that. I was in high school. You have to be accompanied by an adult, like a parent, a guardian. And then you pick a gun. It was an indoor range. And then they just give you the gun, 50 rounds. And then here in the Philippines, bahala ka na. It's like you're on your own. So that was one of the most terrifying, scary, uncomfortable experiences. Now you're lucky if the range officer is not just very helpful, but very warm and kind. Because guns, it's very scary. You could shoot yourself. They're dangerous tools. So my first experience was, very far from perfect. This is why I created this course. This is also for people who want a refresher. Maybe you've had guns for many years, decades, so many years, but you just want to learn a refresher or a different perspective, or just you want to be updated. So who am I? So in part one, this is called the intro. I'm going to share with you a quick background on who am I. Also, people watching the live or the replay, I welcome you to, comment down below. your background of guns. What's your experience? Are you a first timer? Are you experienced? Is this the first time you're watching Gun Basics Philippines? Are you an expert already? So feel free to comment down below. Maybe you also have trauma. So you had a really bad experience with guns. Comment down below. So I'm going to be sharing my screen very shortly here. And what I'm going to do is show you a quick background of who I am. So there, as you could see. So here, this is the Gun Basics Philippines page. I will open here, like for people who just want to sign up for the course. Over here, I am going to just scroll down on the bio, this part over here, this one. So I'll be reading you can read along with me. So this is who I am, my background on who Martin is. I got into guns as young as 13 years old. And I remember, so I was like in grade school. And this is just me. Again, comment down below, people watching the live. Or if you're watching this at home, this video, pause the video and share. Feel free to share. I want this to be an interactive workshop. So I started, earliest interest I could recall was 13 years old. I was in grade school. Back in the day, there were newspapers and there were gun ads in them. So there was a period of time later on wherein that became less frequent, or it just was, maybe it was taboo. Like newspapers didn't want gun ads anymore, like for a long period of time. But as early as then, when I was 13, I was interested in guns already. So currently, 2024, I'll be turning 37 in a few months, very soon. So this was way back. Then I joined the gun club in 2010. This was my turning point. So CPPSA and BF, Parañaque City. I trained with Ernie Claudio. So people who know him, his nickname, 50. So he was very strict with the way he taught. And it was a good thing for me because I really loved the discipline, the structure, the seriousness, especially when it came to guns. He knew his stuff. He was good. He wasn't just like a top shooter. He was also a range officer. And he's even a consultant, I believe, to the PNP, the FEO, so the Philippine National Police, the Firearms Explosives Office. They consulted him even when it came to gun safety, gun laws, subject matter expert. So I went through the course as a member in his gun club. I learned the number one rule, so gun safety. So I'll be sharing that in part 2, I believe. So, just wait for that part. So that's the first lesson I wish I learned, and it's probably the last lesson I'll take to my grave. I learned other so this one is more related to firearms law. So I don't want to get down the rabbit hole too much on this, but the laws have changed over the years. And I'll probably talk about that in part 5, one of the last parts of this course. So after the gun club, one of the very first firearms training courses I ever attended was actually an Armscor. So this is in Marikina, and this was a 2-day total gun ownership seminar. So I love this because back in the day, I was doing my research with firearms training in the Philippines. And you might have seen that upload in the channel many years back. So Armscor, Bob South, I think he was like the vice president even at that time. And he was very hands-on. That's what I love about him. He's down to earth and he will train with you and alongside you. So I took that. Normally, when you take firearms training, you have to bring your own gun and ammunition. The cool thing about Armscor was, since they are a big shooting range, they actually allowed you to rent a gun, and they also had ammo on site. So here in the Philippines, Armscor is like one of the largest, not just firearms manufacturers, they also manufacture ammunition. So, 9 millimeter, 45, like 40, like the most common calibers, they factory ammunition, they manufacture it, they sell it. So 2012, I think that was one of my very first firearms training courses I attended. And aside from the gun club, and then I attended others. So I met Mark Tan of Tactical Applications Consulting. I've been training over the years. So handgun operator 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, so this was like a collaboration with Surefire Philippines. Surefire, like the flashlights, and then carbine operator, carbine, however you say it. So that's with a rifle. So I attended that. Deconflict. This was a really interesting course I took, force on force. So I think we were using like blowback or airsoft guns, so like non-lethal, and it was a super interesting course. I think that was collaborated also with Nick's Kalanok. So he found this place. It's like a empty warehouse lot, and then it was a really fun experience. So it's again, even if you don't have live fire gun ammunition, there's still firearms training, like force on force, low visibility, concealed carry. So I actually love that more because my background is I'm a civilian. There are different types of training for law enforcement, military. So go for the one that suits you best. Engagement in confined spaces. This one, the Gun Safety and Responsible Gun Ownership Instructor Seminar, took this in 2013. So this is how I got my these things. So my gun safety instructor. Yeah, these. So the cool thing about this was I was training alongside other people. Like usually it's the representatives from a gun store because gun safety is like a requirement when purchasing a firearm. Other people who just wanted to train and be instructors as well. For me, I did it to just level up, upgrade. Also, gun safety is really one of the core fundamentals I believe in. So, and that was also the one who spearheaded that actually was Ernie Claudio. So, my mentor from the CPPSA Gun Club. And then last year, I went through reorientation seminar, like a refresher the year after. I also trained with Ed Barr, MP Concepts. So I don't know if there are any others that I've missed out there, but all I can say is when you find a good person here locally in the Philippines, there aren't that many. But if you find a good firearms training group, try it out. If you have a good experience, please share it. If you don't, even with me, feel free to give your own feedback, whether it's positive or negative. I welcome it. Constructive, this is so we can all get better and help each other in this industry. So let me stop sharing this. Stop sharing. Here you go. Back to me. So I'm going to end this intro part. Before I end, usually in my live gun classes in the shooting range, this is the part where I ask, what is your background with guns? Meaning, do you have any experience with guns? Are you a first timer? Maybe you have a lolo, a family relative. You saw a gun lying on the table, but you didn't know what to do, how to handle it. Maybe you are an expert already, and you're just watching and saying, "Look at this young kid over here. Is there something new I can learn from him?" Comment down below. I'm curious. So this is the end of part one. This is the introduction. I'm curious also to know who you are. So thank you, and I'll see you in part two.